ඔබත් SLT පාරිභෝගිකයෙකු නම් ඔබේ හිතවතෙකුට SLT නව සබඳතාවයක් 50%ක වටනමක් සහිතව ලබා දී ඔබේ බිල්පතට රුපියල් 6000ක් දක්වා වටනමක් හිමි කරගන්න.
Tonight, economic resuscitation. The central bank unveils its roadmap 2020, including a host of policy measures aimed at resurrecting the country's economic fortunes, revealing plans to engage the IMF with necessary changes to terms.
We hope to engage with the IMF and other agencies, remaining within the overall national policy framework.
Judicial interference. Evidence revealed detailing possible collusion between MPs, the judiciary and investigators in past political court cases following MP Ranjan Ramanayaka's arrest. Forging the future. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa unveils government plans to overhaul the country's education system by building 1,000 new schools across the island. Joy and disappointment. The 2020 Golden Globe Awards ends with surprising wins and even more surprising heartbreak. All this and much more coming up on this Monday, the 6th of January 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
It always feels good when you are appreciated. SLT non-stop broadband. Free loyalty data added as you stay connected.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Shanella Fernando. Moving on to your top stories for tonight. The central bank's roadmap 2020 was unveiled today, outlining broad-ranging policy measures to stabilize the country's economy. Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman revealed measures targeting the SME sector, including a relief package targeting non-performing advances, which will include suspension of legal action and rescheduling of loans at concessionary interest rates. In addition, the central bank governor revealed that the government expects to engage further with international agencies, including the IMF, where the bank hopes to negotiate changes to terms where necessary. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka unveiled its Roadmap 2020 monetary and financial sector policies for the year ahead this morning. Speaking at the event, Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman revealed broad-ranging policies aimed at stabilizing the economy and currency, which will also entail engaging with the International Monetary Fund and other international agencies with hopes of negotiating changes in terms where necessary.
A relief package for reviving SMEs is being designed, particularly targeting non-performing advances. For those who seek relief under this package, suspension of legal action and rescheduling of loans along with some interest rate concessions have been proposed. For borrowers in the performing category, a new facility with extended repayment periods, including a grace period for capital repayments under reasonable interest rates, is being considered. In this context, I urge Sri Lankan banking sector to rethink credit disbursement policies. Sri Lanka successfully issued international sovereign bonds amounting to US dollars 4.4 billion during 2019. The rupee has shown greater stability in foreign exchange markets after its significant depreciation in 2018. A marginal appreciation indeed was observed in 2019 for the first time since 2010. We hope to engage with the IMF and other international agencies, remaining within the overall national policy framework, negotiating for changes in the IMF program where changes are considered necessary. The central bank initiated drafting a new banking act and expects to complete its enactment in 2021. Further, the new banking act will contain provisions to extend regulations for banks which are to be established in the Colombo International Financial Center.
A number of telephone conversations between MP Ranjan Ramanayaka and the former director of CID Shani Abesekara were released to media today. Quoting these conversations, ministers of the government today said that it transpires through the conversations that the MP had exerted pressure on the police and the judiciary. The residence of UNP MP Ranjan Ramanayaka in Madivela was searched upon a warrant by police last Saturday. According to the police headquarters, a number of hard drives and compact discs found in the MP's residence contained conversations pertaining to investigations conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department, Financial Crimes Division and the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. Accordingly, State Minister Rohita Abegunawardena today released a telephone conversation between MP Ramanayaka and the former director of the Criminal Investigation Department, Shani Abesekara.
මගේ මොනවාරි මිස්ෆයර් එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවද මගේ මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ නඩුවට
ඔව් සර් මෙතෙන්ද කතා කරපු එක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක්
ඇයි මගේ යාළුවානේ
හරි මේ යාළුකම් ඉවරයි සර් ඕක කතා කරා සර් කතා කරා මේක කියලා ඕවා කොහොම අනිත්‍යයෙන් පත් වුණොත් එහෙම
නෑ
අරයක තීන්දුවට එකඟ වෙලා ලිව්වොත් අපි ඉවරයි
නෑ එයාගේ ප්‍රයිවට් ෆෝන් එකට මගේ ප්‍රයිවට් ෆෝන් එකෙන් ගත්තේ අයි මම විතරයි ඒක පිටින් දන්නේ ඔයා විතරයි
දැන් කතා කරා කියන එක කොහොම හරි මමත් දැනගත්තනේ
ඉතින් ඔයාට විතරයි මම කිව්වේ
දැන් මං කියන්නම් දැන් නම් කිසිම කෙනෙක් එක්ක මේ ගැන කතා කරන්න එපා මට මේ ගෙදර ඇවිල්ලා පොලි වැඩ කරන්න මේ නඩුව
මට අපෙන් මං වා කියනද මං කටවහින්න මට අප්සෙට් ගියේ ඔයා කියනවා වෙඩි කාලේ මරුණක් කමන්නේ මට වෙඩි තිබ්බට කවුරුත් නැහැ මොකද්ද සර් මම පොලිසියෙන් එහෙම කිව්වම අපි අප්සෙට් වෙන්නේ නැද්ද මේ වගේ නිලධාරි දාලා යනවා කිව්වම
නීතිය නමලා නෙවෙයි නීතිය පොඩිපට්ටම් කරලා විනාශ කරලා අධිකරණය ඉතාමත්ම අසරණ භාවයට පත් කරපු තැනක් බවට තමයි පහුගිය යහපාලන ආණ්ඩුව තීන්දුව తీරන අරගෙන තියෙන කියන එකට වෙන සාක්ෂි මොනවත් ඕනේ.
Meanwhile, the Sinhalay organisation lodged a complaint with the National Police Commission today, demanding the suspension of Senior Superintendent of Police Shani Abesekara. 13 tapes containing telephone conversations alleged to have taken place between Shani Abesekara and MP Ranjan Ramanayaka were submitted to the commission and were also released to media.
බලමු පළවෙනි හඬපටය
හරි ශානි මුකුත් අලුතෙන් කියන දේවල් තියෙනවා නම් මට පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා ලියා ගන්න ඕම මම වියන්ස දුර්වල කරා කියලා. ඒකනේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඔව්. දැන් වියන්ස 2015 ජුනි මාසේ තමයි අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම උද්‍යන්ස එක්කෙනා අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තේ. ඊට කලින් මේගොල්ලන්ට කරදරයක් තියුන්නේ නැහැ නේ රාජකාරී කරන්න. ඔව්. හරියට ඔව්. මේගොල්ලෝ කරපු රාජකාරියේ ප්‍රතිඵලය කියන්න ලියා ගන්නවා. ප්‍රේමදාස පාරේ මැරුවා. ගලදාරි හෝටලේ බිමට සමතලා කරා. ලක්ෂ්මන් කදිරගාම රැමරිතුමා ගේ ඇතුලේදී ස්නයිප් කළා මැරුවා. ස්විම් පූල් එකේ ඉඳි. ඩොක්ටර් ජැකෝල් කියන ෆිල්ම් එක තමයි ආදර්ශයට ගත්තේ. තව තියෙනවා 80ක් තියෙනවා කියන්නම්. මට මේ ටික ඇද්දි. අනේ සර් වැදගත් මේවා තියෙනවා. මේ ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්තුමා කඩේ ගියාට සියන්සෙට කඩේ යන්න ඕන BMW කම්පැනියට. එයා බේරිලා ඉන්නේ BMW කම්පැනියේ ඉඳලා. කවුද? කොටාබේ රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා ඉස්සලහන් ලේ බින්දුවක් දාගෙන අයියට කියලා බදාගත්තා.
බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ ඇතුළු එතකොට ජොන්සන් ප්‍රනාන්දු ඇතුළු මේ පුද්ගලයන් සිරභාරයට ගැනීම සම්බන්ධව අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට උපදෙස් ලබා දුන්න හැටි තමයි මේ හඬපටවල තියෙන්නේ.
හෙලෝ කාවද ඇතුළට දාන්නේ ළඟදී අපිට දෙන්නකෝ සුභාරංචියක්. අනේ නෑ ඒක ඔයා මට කියනවා මගේ මිත්‍රයානේ. ලොක්ක ළඟපාත ඉන්නවද?
නෑ ලොක්ක ගාව මේ දුවන්නේ මට ඉතින් දිනේ කියන්න බෑ.
එන්නෝ දා ඒක තමයි එන් කෑ ගහන වැඩි මේ ජොන්සන්වත් දාන්න එන්වත් දාන්න නාමල්වත් දාන්න.
නිශාන්ත සිල්වා කන්දප්ප මහත්මයාව මීගමුවට LTT සංවිධානය සමග සම්බන්ධතා පැවැත් වූ ආකාරය පිළිබඳව සිදුවෙච්ච හෙළිදරව්වක් අනුව මීගමුව කොට්ටාශයට කරපු මාරුවීම කොහොමද මේ ස්වාධීන කියන පොලිස් කොමිසම හරහා රංජන් රාමනායකලා මැදිහත් වෙලා නැවතත් කොළඹ අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ නැවතත් ඔහු හිටපු සේවාස්ථානයේටම මාරුවීම හදලා දුන්නේ කියන එක තමයි හඬපටේ තියෙන්නේ.
Good morning sir. සුභාරංචියක් ආවා ඒක හරි නේද? හරි සර් අනේ සර්ලාගේ කැපවීම අනුව තමයි ඒක උනේ සර් බොහොම ස්තුතියි සර් අපේ රවි මහත්මයා හොඳයි වැඩි ස්වාධීන පොලිස් කොමිසම අපි දාපු ඉඳ හොඳයි කෙලින්ම වගනේ සර් කැන්සල් නේ වැඩි කැන්සල් සර් කැන්සල් thank you sir නියමයි මම ඒක අද thank you sir අද මම යනවා වාද පිටියට මම ඕක ගන්නන්නේ
Following the white van court case heard today, Sarath Kumara and Atula Madanayaka, the duo that were held in remand custody, and the former chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Rumi Mohammed, were granted bail today by the Colombo Chief Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne. The magistrate stated that Rumi Mohammed was not arrested with a warrant issued by the courts, and the police had disrupted legal proceedings when they took the former chairman of the SPC under custody.
The duo responsible for making controversial statements at the White Van press briefing that was held last year by former Minister Rajitha Senanayaka, Sarath Kumara and Atula Madanayaka were produced before the Colombo Magistrates Court today, along with the former chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Rumi Mohammed. The court proceedings commenced with the Colombo Chief Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne inquiring on the basis to which investigations were conducted on the duo that were held in remand custody. Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piri stated that the duo were held under the 102nd, 113th, 169th and 190th clauses of the Penal Code and the Presidential Elections Act, to which the defence attorney requested the magistrate to grant bail to his clients under any conditions and that they be granted the opportunity to make a statement before the courts. Attorneys representing the suspects further stated that since they were held on bailable charges, they be granted bail under any condition. Colombo Chief Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne then questioned the prosecuting counsel with regard to the basis that was used to arrest the former chairman of the SPC, as the police had not acquired an arrest warrant from the court for the arrest. The magistrate also stated that just because someone surrenders to the police, it does not give the police the right to arrest the individual, since the suspect did not evade the authorities after being named as a suspect on the 30th of December. Presenting further facts on the case, Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piri stated that the representatives of the former Minister of Health, Rajitha Senanayaka, had assured the suspect's spouses that the minister would be willing to provide legal assistance for the suspects. However, he also went on to state that due to the minister's failing health condition, the Colombo Crimes Division is unable to record statements. After taking into consideration the facts presented, the magistrate said that the suspects have remained under custody for a long time and that they were not held on non-bailable charges and thus granted bail on two personal sureties of Rs 500,000 each. He also went on to say that the former SPC chairman could not be held in custody and granted bail on two personal sureties of Rs 500,000 each. The case is to be heard next on 27th of February.
The driver of the former Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka Dilum Tusita Kumara was granted bail after being produced before the Colombo Magistrate Court today in relation to the hit-and-run incident that took place in Rajagiriya in 2016. Colombo Additional Magistrate Kanchana Niranjana, presiding over the hearing today, granted bail to the driver as there were no submissions made providing that Dilum Tusita Kumara would have a possible influence on other witnesses. Former Minister of Megapolis and Western Development Patali Champika Ranawaka was present at the hearing that took place at the Colombo Magistrates Court today, as his driver Dilum Tusita Kumara was granted bail with relation to the near-fatal hit-and-run incident that took place in 2016. Appearing on behalf of the Colombo Crimes Division, Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piri stated that the driver of the former minister was being hidden by a powerful individual and alleged that certain lawyers have played a part in this act. He added that in contrast to what the former minister had stated with regard to his mobile phone being with his driver during the time of the incident, this had been proven to be false, as data received from mobile phone towers in the area showed that the driver's phone and the minister's had been travelling on separate routes during the time of the incident. The Colombo Additional Magistrate Kanchana Niranjana, taking into consideration all facts presented, granted bail to the suspect on two personal sureties of Rs 250,000 each, as the prosecution could not prove that the suspect could have any influence over other witnesses. The magistrate ordered that the suspect must report to the Colombo Crimes Division on the last Sunday of every month. The attorney at law, appearing on behalf of Parliamentarian Patali Champika Ranawaka, presented facts and requested the magistrate to amend the previously imposed condition to any other date other than Sunday. The magistrate, taking into account the facts that were presented, amended the day the parliamentarian must report to the Colombo Crimes Division as Friday. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today stated that the aim of the new government is to provide an effective education system for children by developing and expanding the infrastructure facilities of the country's school network. Addressing the opening ceremony of Sri Chandananda Buddhist Girls' School, the Prime Minister revealed that the government expects to build 1,000 new national schools island-wide. The opening ceremony of Sri Chandananda Buddhist Girls' School was held this morning in Katugastura, Kandy, with the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
ජාතික පාසල් 1000ක් බිහි කිරීම අපේ බලාපොරොත්තුව ඒ වගේම ත්‍රෛභාෂික පාසලක් හැම දිස්ත්‍රික්කයකටම ලබා දීමේ වැඩපිළිවෙලක් දැන් නව ආණ්ඩුව කරගෙන යනවා. අපේ බරපතල සාර්ථක අධ්‍යාපනයක් මේ රටේ දරු පරපුරට ලබා දෙන්න. උන්වහන්සේලා දන්නවා අපි පැහැදිලිව දැනට ඉන්නේ තියෙන්නේ අඩු ආසන ගානක් තියෙන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවක් වැඩි හරියක් ඉන්නේ විපක්ෂයේ. ඒ නිසා ඒ බවත් මතක තියාගෙන අපි කටයුතු කරන්න ඕන කියන එක මතක් කරන්න ඕන. ඊළඟට අවස්ථාවේදී අපි රජයක් වශයෙන් ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් වැඩ කරන්නට අපි සූදානම් වෙනවා කියන එක මතක් කළ යුතුයි.
The Prime Minister then participated in religious observances at the Temple of the Tooth Relic in Kandy. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Rajapaksa visited the Sri Mahabodhi Viharaya at Bairavakanda in Kandy and called on the chief incumbent of the Viharaya, Venerable Yatavatte Dhammananda Thera, and obtained blessings. Addressing a public meeting in Vattala yesterday, opposition leader Sajid Premadasa alleged that the decision-making delay in the run-up to the presidential election was the main reason for the defeat of the United National Party. He added that due to this situation, his opponents had by then been leagues ahead by the time his campaign went into full gear.
ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී අපිට මේ අත්පත්තුණු බරපතල ඉරණම ඒකට ප්‍රධාන හේතුවක් තමයි තීරණ ගැනීමේ කල්ැරීමේ ක්‍රියාවලිය. අපි අපේ ගමන පටන් ගන්නකොට ප්‍රතිවාදියා 4 වතාවක් ගිහිල්ලා අවසන් කළාම ආරයි. හැම ජන කොට්ටාසයක්ම කැඩවලා අමතලත් සමාරයි. අපිට ඒ අසාධාරණේ සිද්ධ වුණා. තනතුරු බදාගෙන ඉන්න සුවාසක් තනතුරු බදාගෙන ඉන්න අතරතුර සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මේ മന്ത്രി මණ්ඩල മന്ത്രി සංඛ්‍යාව රැකගන්නට දිරිහිමියෙන් රටවටේ ගිහිල්ලා ඒ යුතුයකම ඉෂ්ට කරනවා.
Meanwhile, addressing a public event in Siduwa, MP Vijit Vijayamuni Soiza said that President will be supported by the opposition to fulfill the promises made.
අපිට පේනවා දැන් ගෝඨාභය මහත්තයා ඇමතිවරු නැතුව තනියම RME එකට යනකොට සිස්ටම් හදන්න මේ පියල්ලත් එක්ක ට්‍රාක්ලත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න. ඇමතිවරු එක්ක කතා කරන්න. උසස් නිලධාරීත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න ඕනේ. ගෝඨාභය මහත්තයා තනි වෙලා දෝ කියලා අපට ඉන්නේ. අපේ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා සමග අපි සහාය දෙනවා. පෞද්ගලික ජනාධිපතිවරණ දීපු පොරොන්දු කරුණා කරලා ඉටු කරන්න.
The Ministry of Foreign Relations has issued a statement with regards to the current escalation of tensions in the Middle East following the killing of senior Iranian military figure General Qasem Soleimani today. The statement expressed the Sri Lankan government's deep concern over the incident in Iraq and called on the parties concerned, namely the United States and Iran, to act with utmost restraint. The statement further urged the parties to maintain peace and security through dialogue in order to de-escalate the threat to the stability of the region. More news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In your business news, Sri Lankan stocks closed 0.73% weaker today, dragged down by John Keel's holdings. The all share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange closed 41.35 points lower at 6,069.93. The S&P SL20 index of more liquid stocks closed 1.14% or 33.53 points down at 2,894.97. Market turnover was 444 million rupees, while 21 stocks gained and 122 declined. Let's now take a look at how the markets fared.
Commencing the week in the bond market, the secondary market yield curve shifted slightly upwards with selling interest mainly centered on 2024 maturity. In the stock market, the bourse ended in red on the price losses made in John Keel's holdings and HMB. The benchmark index or share price index witnessed a downward shift throughout the day and closed at its day's low of 6,070, losing 41 points. Parcel trades are made in dialogue with 3.7 million shares trading at Rs 1280 and 500,000 shares in Hema's holdings at Rs 78.
International, sports, and the Golden Globes on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back in your international news. Tens of thousands of people crowded the streets of Tehran today for the funeral of Army General Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in a US airstrike last week. Among the mourners was Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, who led prayers and was also seen weeping at one point in the proceedings. The general's daughter said his death would bring a dark day for the United States, warning Trump that her father's martyrdom didn't mean the conflict was over. Soleimani was considered by many to be a national hero, and Iran has promised severe revenge for his death, pulling out of the 2015 nuclear accord yesterday. The deal concerned limiting the capacity of Iranian nuclear capacities in exchange for economic sanctions being lifted. The US pulled out of this deal in 2018. The coffins of the Iranian general and an Iraqi militia leader who was also killed in Friday's attack were passed across the heads of crowds in the city, many of them chanting "Death to America." Now, US Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced that the House will introduce and vote on a war powers resolution this week to limit US President Donald Trump's military actions regarding Iran. According to Speaker Pelosi, the resolution reasserts Congress' long established oversight responsibilities by mandating that if no further congressional action is taken, the administration's military hostilities with regard to Iran must cease within 30 days. The resolution is predicted to gain approval in the Democrat-led House, but may face trouble being passed in the Senate, which consists of Trump's fellow Republicans, many of whom support the killing of Iranian leader Qasem Soleimani. Trump has threatened to target important Iranian cultural sites if any retaliation by Iran is seen against the US. Meanwhile, Iraq's parliament has called for US and other foreign troops to leave as the public backlash against the killing on Friday grows. In response, Trump has threatened sanctions against Iraq and said that if US troops were required to leave, the government of Iraq would have to pay Washington for very extraordinarily expensive airbase there. In your sports news, the first stage of the 42nd edition of the Dakar Rally kick-started yesterday at Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Lithuanian driver Vaidotas Zala claimed a stunning victory in stage 1 of the car category. Competing in his 5th Dakar Rally and finishing 12th last year, Zala and his co-driver Salulias Jugenalas clocked 3 hours 19 minutes and 4 seconds, 2 minutes and 14 seconds ahead of 7-time winner Stefan Peter Hansel. Defending champion Nazar Al-Attiyah suffered late punctures as he came 4th, while 2-time Formula 1 champion Fernando Alonso, making his Dakar debut ended 11th with 15 minutes and 27 seconds off the leading time. In the bikes category, Toby Price of Red Bull KTM factory team began the defense of his title with an opening stage victory, finishing ahead of Monster Energy Honda team 2020's Ricky Babek and fellow KTM riding Matthias Wagner. Now, the 2020 awards season kicked off yesterday with the first major award show, the Golden Globes. The night featured some big surprises, including talk of climate change, women's rights, and calls for people to vote in the 2020 election. 1917 won the Best Motion Picture Drama, while Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. Renee Zellweger won Best Actress for Judy, and Joaquin Phoenix beat out Adam Driver and Christian Bale to win Best Actor for Joker. Netflix, however, took a back seat in a night full of surprises as it only won 2 awards despite receiving 34 nominations. With that, here are some of the highlights from the 77th Golden Globes. It is one of Hollywood's biggest nights of the year as the Golden Globe Awards to honor film and TV were handed out in Hollywood. The ceremony held at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills was hosted by comedian Ricky Gervais, who cracked scathing jokes about Hollywood's elite.
No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to the cinema. No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done Netflix, you win everything. Good night. But no.
Taron Egerton, Rocket Man.
As the formalities began, Taron Egerton was the first winner of the night, as he was awarded Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy for his performance in Rocket Man. Awkwafina won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy for her role in The Farewell, beating Kate Blanchett and Emma Thompson.
This is great. If I fall upon hard times, we can sell this, so that's good.
The Golden Globe goes to Brian Cox for Succession.
Brian Cox and Olivia Colman were the next big winners of the night, with Cox winning the Golden Globe for Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series, Drama for Succession, and Colman winning for The Crown.
Thank you. Completely stumped.
And the Golden Globe goes to Laura Dern.
The Golden Globe for the Best Actress in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture was won by Laura Dern for Marriage Story.
Brad Pitt.
Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture was clinched by Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
If you see a chance to be kind to someone tomorrow, take it. I think we need it.
And the Golden Globes goes to
Golden Globe for the Best Television Series Drama was clinched by Succession. Best Original Song Motion Picture was won by Rocket Man's I'm Gonna Love Me Again.
I'm Gonna Love Me Again, Rocket Man.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood!
The Golden Globe for the Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy was won by Quentin Tarantino's take on the Manson murders, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Rami Youssef.
Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series, Musical or Comedy was won by Rami Youssef for Rami. Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series, Musical or Comedy was won by Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Fleabag.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Missing Link.
Missing Link took home the award for Best Motion Picture Animated, defeating Frozen 2. The Golden Globe for the Best Director Motion Picture was awarded to Sam Mendes for 1917. Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama was awarded to Joaquin Phoenix for his performance in Joker.
Renee Zellweger.
Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture Drama was won by Renee Zellweger for Judy. 1917 defeated The Irishman and Joker to clinch the Golden Globe for the Best Motion Picture Drama. With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. I'm Shanella Fernando. Good night.